How you doing? Looking crispy. It's been a while, so let's do a really quick update. I'm going to start with something that I have turned circles around completely uselessly all day. Let's go check it out. Pretty much all day I have been batting my head against this thing. This is the filtration station. This is the big cartridge filters, and it's really just two fine mesh, like a cloth wrap filter, and this one takes out most of the brown, and then this one kind of finishes it up. You'll notice it's brown. This is staying pretty clear. Anyways, a while back we had to fight with it because it leaked right here. So took the whole thing apart, lubed it up, put it back together, and after doing that, it no longer leaked here, but it did leak here, 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 and here. So yeah, quite a leak, actually. Very rapidly getting worse. So since I'm hoping to put in sink soon, I had to fix the water system, so we tore the whole thing down this morning, all the way through. We used to have a plastic fitting here and a plastic fitting here. They're both a good phosphor bronze now. Let's see, belt and suspenders, it's got Teflon tape and pipe dope. And I even put a little pipe dope around each one of the nipples before I cinched them down. And same deal here. Each one of these has been taken apart today at least once, and a Teflon tape piped up. Anyways, I'm recharging the system after I finally hooked up a hose bib. Captain valve here. I realized I had a valve on the wrong side, so I just cut in a valve on the right side. And then as long as I was there, I cut in isolation valves. This will eventually, it feeds this blue line, and which is just laying there. That'll eventually feed a hose bib somewhere down there. This one, ironically, again, Captain Valve forgot to put one. This one feeds that. That's the one that's installed now. And this will go back around, and there's a pipe coming up there for a yard hydrant out front, and it'll feed a hose bib somewhere over there. Anyways, I got all that hard piping done, and I pressurized this thing, and I'm super happy. And I turned this valve to start putting pressure in the tanks or the filters, and I could hear it hissing. I mean, at least before, it didn't hiss loud enough that you could hear it. It just weeped a little bit. Kind of like this union that I can't seem to get to stop leaking. Turns out that $30 valve is cracked right there. So I raced into town, forged my wife's signature on her credit card, and I picked up this one. And I could have picked up another $30 valve. I sprang for the $40 valve, and then I did this whole frickin' mess all over again. Again, pipe dope and Teflon tape, all of the joints, pressurized it up. It's dripping over there because I'm bleeding the air out of the system, but other than that small weep, it appears to be holding fine, and I have a hose bib in the house for the first time. Before, I was hooking up hoses way back there and running them up the stairs, or they come up the hill from down below. That's how I was going to fight that fire. This is much better. But let's go look at the other stuff. Hey, look at that. We have passed final electrical and have permission from the state of Montana to begin occupancy. He found several things he didn't like, and he definitely wanted me to change. For instance, there's some outlets down below that aren't on ground fault GFI. But he also told my wife there is no second inspection, which means we passed with 100%, because, yeah, that's all it's ever going to be down there. But that's not the coolest part. Look at this. The kitchen cabinets are here. These are my father-in-law built these. My wife talked him into it. I suspect it was a bigger job than he intended. It certainly took an awful lot longer. And they're a long ways from being done. But the base units are sitting in here so that we can actually move forward and install countertops and live in the thing just without doors on it for a while. That's my deceased uncle's alder. I've been saving it. I've been saving it longer than I've been saving that kid of mine to use in something great. My wife went overboard with drawers. I don't know why my father-in-law decided to, I swear to God, that one's uncrooked. Rather than building door fronts, he knocked up some temporary ones out of plywood. I'm a little afraid they're tempo permanere, if you know what I mean, but it's between him and her. I am relatively confident if in the end I have to build my own doors, I certainly can, and I can definitely copy drawer fronts. My wife, again, if I'd have been involved, I'd have told her not quite so many, but she definitely has a lot of drawers. Happy. She's very, very happy, and it's quite pretty, and you know, we were approaching a year, so it needed to be done, and they're gorgeous, and I can't wait to see them. They're all, we're gonna build the doors, or the drawer fronts are all gonna be this same sort of book match stuff here, and the grain will run top to bottom, following all the drawers vertically. I think that looked really cool. But you know what else looks really cool? This pantry. This was not something that was on the radar until I was on Facebook Marketplace and someone was selling the built-in oak cabinets out of a 1970s postmodern. Anyways, what turns out, yeah, they were built-in, but they were solid wood, solid oak built-in cabinets. And they took a measurement, and I crossed my fingers, and I drove 200 miles at the drop of a hat the following day, and I picked them up and installed them in here. And my wife now has a pantry. I had these plans. I had salvaged the mesh shelving out of a walk-in beer cooler, and they would have been very cool, and I had plans on having it powder coated and everything else, but it would never have been this. I've been told I really need to take and respray all the shelves so they, canned goods or whatever, don't watermark it or whatever, because you know it's not supposed to be in a pantry. And I had some scrap plywood with oak veneer already. It was, yeah, came with 2 base units. They're a weird length and a weird width. They're narrower than normal, and they're an oddball length, but they are all, again, solid hardwoods. This one's got a drawer stack I got to put back into it, and it had a little bar sink in this end over here, which worked out great because this was some long future. This was never going to get done. This was so far down the list, I kept telling her to ignore it, and then this plopped into my lap, and I pulled the trigger. Anyways, I'm gonna set that bar sink in there, and I got a 9'7" piece of plywood on that. I don't know where it came from over there, and I have a 2 foot. They're black. They don't match, but it wasn't gonna match anyways. I had a 2 foot covered unit sitting in the barn, and I figure I'll just set it right there, and I'll put this plywood over the top, and I won't even cut it down, and then we'll put down some Formica laminate as soon as I can figure out where I buy that. What else have I done? I've started putting up base trim. This one here, it's sitting in there. I got to custom cut it because my wall's all Betty Boop. Sorry, not Betty White. I don't know how curvy Betty White was, but Betty Boop, it's all curved up. So I got to re-custom cut that. This was just some auction vanity that was up in Mom and Dad's barn, but it'll work fine. It's sitting here. I've got a kit sink right there. Countertop sink combo. I'm just going to drop it on top. Not sure how to hold it down. I have a faucet for it, but no drain. So that's still sitting there. In Shay's bathroom, or I guess just the upstairs bathroom. I went Home Depot and I bought that thing. Wife wasn't thrilled, but I'm so tired of work. You know that I've spent, at this point, 10% of my life building this goddamn house. I'm so sick and tired of it. We are just gonna throw things, and if it sticks, it's good enough. I want to be in here, and I want to do something else. And then in here was another one of those vanity units, and we were able to very carefully slice. Oh, well, what the hell am I doing? I should just take this one and move it down there. Ah, I don't know. I've got this unit here. We cut off the end of it, and it's already got the holes cut for that laundry room sink. Another thing I never ever thought we would get to, but I think we're gonna get to it here pretty quickly. And you know, they're narrower than normal and used, but hey, it's fantastic. Other than that, there's toilets that flush in the house now. All the toilets are in. As soon as I charge those water lines, we get a run around the house frantically checking that every one of the compression fittings that I installed holds. The batting average hasn't been so good so far, but that's where we sit. And the fire, if it gets really, really windy, you'll see little smokes begin to pop up. But other than that, the fire's gone too. So, yeah. That's the update at the River House. It's homecoming week next week. So, I've just been flogging, and I'm pretty tired, but we're getting there. Thanks for watching.